Okay, this is where you get the heavy breathing because I can't think of anything else to say, and I stubbornly insist on having this sort of microphone here like this. Hang on, it's switched off. It's silent. That's good. That's good. All right. What I need to do is just go to the player page. Oh, all right. And it's working. Good. It's working. That's good. That's got to wait for you guys to join me. There's 10 people watching already. That's absolutely great. Sweeps is here. Greetings, Sweeps. No surrender, unite humanity, and sever the globalist jugular. So be it. Absolutely, Sweeps. Yeah, definitely. Not literally, of course. Just sever a jugular. It's all kind of like symbolic, politically symbolic. Hello, DJ B2. How are you? I got a little dog sitting beside me here. He's called Rusty, who I'm looking after. You can't see him unfortunately because I've got this. I've got this background. Oh, DJ. Can see and hear fine. Great. That's brilliant. Hello, Green Tea. Welcome. How are you? Hope you're doing all right. Hello, Pete. Welcome. Welcome. By the way, Green Tea and my other sort of transatlantic listeners or viewers rather, because not if you're on Hapanwo Radio, it's a listener. If you're on Hapanwo TV, it is a viewer. Just to let you know, guys. Next Sunday, in fact, it applies to everyone all over the world because I have viewers all over the world. Next Sunday, not tomorrow, one afterwards. Our clocks change. We go from British summertime to Greenwich Mean Time, so times will be different. Okay, guys. Okay. Hello, Pete. Welcome. And hello, Crazy Mark. How you doing? Hope you're not too crazy. And we've got here the Teddy and Paddy Bear's Adventures. Oh, Stuart. It's Stuart from Leamington Spa. Oh, yes, of course. Of course. And we got David Schultz. Hello, long time no see. What's the word? Oh, wow. You got a lot to catch up on, David, but it's good to see you again. But if you want to know what I'm talking about when I talk about Stuart, let me just show you. Stuart has been in one of my videos. This is a really good one, this one. Hang on. Here we go. Birthplace of the Beast. Go and watch that. Stuart's in it. Yeah, it's great you're here, mate. It's great you're here. But yeah, a lot's been happening, David. A hell of a lot's been happening. Yay! Have we got Israel? Have we got Israel? I don't believe it. We got Israel Diego Rivera. Oh, he's got another name. The Real Genius. Oh, right. Are you not Arts Channel then? Are you not Arts Channel? Yeah, hope you're doing all right, Stuart. You're not the same person because you've got Vincent van Gogh as your avatar. But I mean, you were Israel Diego Rivera, Genius to the Real Genius. I remember you. I know you. It's good to see you again. It's good to see you again, mate. Now, hope you all like my T-shirt. Say no to digital ID. How about that, eh? Yes. It's not a T-shirt. Sorry, it's like a jumper. It's a jumper. Now this was bought for me as a birthday present. My birthday was on last Monday. It was bought for me as a present by a viewer. So thank you very much to that person. If they want, they can own up if they are. I believe the US Times change doesn't happen until November the 2nd. That's right. Oh, cheers! It's great, isn't it, Green Tea? That's right. I always remember this because when I used to do the Mindset podcast with Gareth Davis, our clocks would always change 2 weeks before his, and he's in California. So he'd be like saying, he'd be like really annoyed. Well, he wouldn't be annoyed, but someone on the panel would always forget. I only forgot once. Loads of those would forget all the time, and they'd be like, "Oh, we'd be an hour into the recording, and they'd turn up." And funny enough, when I was a hospital porter, the early shift started at 6 a.m., which is pretty early. When I was on the early shift, and you could bet, like when the clocks went back in the spring, everyone would turn up an hour late, and the night shift would have to stay on. It'd be really annoying. But then, of course, when the clocks went back when the clocks went forward in spring, when the clocks went back as they are in the autumn, everyone would no one would turn up an hour early. BJ, if you say no to digital ID, they will try to force you to wear a digital butt plug made in Ukraine. A Starmer likes that kind of thing. He does indeed, but I mean, I hear that the guys who make it, they have a burning reputation. Thanks, Green Tea. Thank you. And all right, did you see the response from the government about signing the petition against digital ID? Yes, I did, and in fact, we're going to go into that. We're going to go into that this evening. Hello, sweet Foxman. Howdy, all you good folks. Does the group here know anything about the huge protest in the UK today against digital ID? I know very well, sweets, because I couldn't go, and I was desperate to go to them, and I couldn't. I couldn't go to the protest. We're going to go into some of the. We'll go into some of the coverage of that. How you doing? All right. Yeah, we'll go into the government response as well, because what they did is unbelievable. Please hit the like button, everyone. Help a good man out. Thanks, Crazy Mark. Yeah. Did you like the avatar? I enjoyed that avatar. That was pretty good. Yeah. Stum's a bit plug. Oh God, he's unmentionable, isn't he? He's unmentionable. I can't even think of an insult bad enough for him. I really can't. But anyway, guys, I'm going to play the intro. We mustn't forget to play the intro. So if you're all ready, I think we've got 21 people watching. We've been going for 6 minutes. So let's play the intro. And I've got to put it on screen share. First, I've got to put it on screen share and mute my mic. Do it properly this time, Ben. Yeah.
Conspiracies, government cover-ups, Earth mysteries, monster cryptids, Cybe saucers, and black triangle, up and woe. Black goo in Antarctica, lizard kings from the seventh star, men in black and Queen Boudica, up and woe. Black goo in Antarctica, Kepler's from the seventh star, men in black and Queen Boudica, hop and woe. Welcome to the Hop and Woe Show. Once I was alone, I was petrified, thinking I could be abducted when the bins went out. And so I spent so many nights thinking about the gray that might be there. But I grew strong, and now I really couldn't care. Save me from the aliens, save me from the government, save me from the men in black who call. Save me from the skeptics, save me from the watchers. Justice must be done for Richard D. Hall. No more psyop whitewashes. No more left in fear. How long till disclosure comes? Is it really getting near? Is it really getting near? Is it really getting near? Or are we always gonna wonder? Are we never gonna know? Is it just a way to control cells created oh so many years ago? Save me from the sheeple, save me from the liars. Open up your eyes and see their false flag planned attacks. Save me from the grifters. Save me from the spiteful mutant hacks. Our fear is their power, our obedience the same. Make quiet acts of integrity always be your aim. Make quiet acts of integrity always be your aim. Speak truth to power, always be the keeper of the flame.
Hello, right, I'm back. Hello, everyone. I want to say hello to everyone who has joined. I'll go through all your various things now. Hope you enjoyed that intro video. Thanks to Rhiannon for the music. We couldn't see much of the London protest, only coverage of No Kings protests around the country. Oh, Green Tea, I mean, I'm sure there's not much on the news about it. We're going to check that out. Hello, Cal Costello. Hello, how do you do? Let's get on the dance floor. Exactly, Israel Diego Rivera. Hello, we have Crafty Nihilist. Hello. Oh, my goodness. Can I show your videos? We're here in the background listening, but getting ready for a craft fair at Glastonbury tomorrow. Oh, what? Well, I'd love to show your videos if that's okay. I mean, you made some videos there. They're probably yours, and other people's amateur coverage is the best type you're going to get because the news won't cover it. But we're in the Daily Mail. Oh, my goodness me, the ultimate honor. Doing the robot now in this room. Hello, Mark, less nihilistic Mark, and he is. Hello, nihilist. How do you? Oh, we got Owen Mark. Hello, Owen Marshall. Hello, Owen. How are you do? Sorry, I got you mixed up with Owen McDonald. Oh, hello, Owen Mark. No, mustn't get you. No, you're not Owen McDonald. Owen Marshall. Hello. Yeah, that's just my intro. Don't worry. Did you like the intro music? Hello, Dr. Sai, and the intro video I made. Well, Diana made the music, and I put it in with her Panmo logo. DJ, we got Over the Moon Multimedia. Hello, how are you? I like the witch thing there. It's dragging on a bit. Oh. Well, I quite like it. I think it's good. Mark says, looks like the BBC ignored. Of course they would. Wouldn't they? Obviously not to everyone's taste, this music and video. But there you go. Hello, Nihilist Lives Matter. The BBC will report it and say that only 3 people and a dog attended. Yeah, that's like they reckon 100,000 people were at the September the 13th event, which of course I was there. I know it wasn't as big as the Brexit protest in 2017, but it was pretty close to that. It was pretty close. You can tell by how many people are squeezing into the area because it was the same place. It was the same location. All right, guys. So yeah, we have this is the most. Let me just get one and put these on. It's easier. This has to be, is it probably the most predictable? The most predictable thing that the Starmer regime is decided to do? Probably. Anyway, let's go through. I'll begin by going through your notice comments. Okay, so Arts Channel says no to digital ID. Exactly. The WOW signal 6EQUJ5 says second by a second or two. Red Ibex says first. Of course, Red Ibex has got to get first, doesn't he? And then German Mad says, oh, right. He says something very silly. prying into my private life. And I'm not going to repeat what he says here, but luckily Neil Peel stands up for me at this point, and I put him in his place too. There you go. And then One String Puppet says here, who I know One String Puppet through the James's Pipe video. Yeah. Didn't I already comment on this yesterday when it was titled something else during a live chat, or was that just a dream or premonition? And the thing is, One String actually put a comment on another video, and that's what it was actually. That's what he actually saw anyway. Let's just have a look here. They're worried about that. That's why they're bringing out this digital ID rubbish. People are really waking up now. We'll go into that, yes, because I believe that this is ever since, almost since the beginning of the old C word lockdown. There's signs that they're lashing out in desperation. They are. I'm worried about the damage they could do during that process, but it's a healthy sign in a way. It's a healthy sign. If we can survive this, we'll live to see a free world in our lifetimes. Yes, I mean, this is surely, apart from the rereading of the Online Safety Act, this inevitable excavation of the national identity card from its deep, deep grave is the most predictable thing Keir Starmer's going to do. I mean, he was bound to do it. He was bound to. I mean, this idea of national ID cards, it's been proposed several times. Margaret Thatcher wanted to introduce it by dishing it out to football fans to weed out hooligans. And during the C word, of course, it was a way to save grandma. You know the usual story. And Tony Blair tried to bring it in by telling us it keeps us safe from terrorism. And now Starmer wants to bring it in because he's finally decided, after ages of wanting the opposite, and in fact, engineering the opposite, that he wants to solve the migration crisis. Now, what's in common with all those things? Well, there's never anything good about national ID cards, is there? Never. They're never presented as something positive or good. They're only ever presented as a solution to some problem. And sometimes it's a problem they create for the very purpose, like problem, reaction, solution, like David Icke says. Oh, Crafty Nihilist filmed him as well. So obviously we know what this is going to lead to, the ultimate papers, please society. I mean, it's even mainstream to talk about papers, please society. I was actually stopped by the police a couple of weeks ago. It's going to be on my next Oxford graffiti video. And I actually made this point to them because the copper asked me if I've got any ID, and I says, why don't you just snap your fingers and say papers, please? Say it in a fake German accent. It sounds really cool. And of course, the government have always said, like they always say, like Margaret Thatcher said, it's only if you go to visit a football ground you'll need this. And the Starmer regime says, well, only use it for people applying jobs. That's their current sales pitch. But it doesn't matter. Once the scheme has been established, it can be adapted afterwards into whatever the hell they want. And this is why one of the first things I did on this channel, on Herpanwo, and indeed it's the experience I had that encouraged me to do it. In fact, it inspired me to do it and really shocked me into doing it. This is a kind of mugging. What's the phrase? Mugged by reality. It was when my daughter came home from school in 2006 and said the school wanted to take our fingerprints. And at that moment, I thought, my God, this is real. At that point, I've been like a conspiracy theorist for about 10 years before that. But there's a part of me that didn't really believe it. I thought it might not be real. And now there's no doubt. Also, ignore the justification that because other countries have national ID. Why? Just because they've gone down the Orwellian rabbit hole doesn't mean we have to. The Orwellian swamp, the pit. I mean, and no one's believing Starmer's line on migration. No one's believing it. In fact, Nigel Farage said it's a cynical ploy to fool voters that something has been done about illegal immigration. He's right, and it's not working. So it's essential that we resist. Basically, I'll say this now, and I'll come back to this point. This will not work if there is mass non-compliance. This is the petition, right? I'll show you the petition. There it is now. Here we go. It's still going up. It was 2,894,271. It is still going up. It was 894. It was 893,000, I think, just a couple of hours ago. So it's gained another 1,000 signatures in the last hour. And we'll come on to the government response in a minute because it's a disgrace. But this is close to 3 million people now, and it will clear 3 million before this petition closes. This is the biggest petition I've ever seen. There was even there's a live video of the petition gaining. Where is it? I wonder if it's still there. Here we are. Digital. I was watching this. It's really funny. Petition. Someone's put a live video of the petition gaining. Here we are. Digital ID petition live. I don't know if it's still going. Oh, it's still going. Like the music and everything. Oops, no, I don't want to put up. Still gaining. People still posting in the comments. Awful UK, there we go. So it's still going up. It's barely going up. It's been near 2.7 for weeks. After all this time, you'd expect that, Crafty, because most people who are going to sign it will have done it by now. But more people are adding, and it's a huge number. If just half those people put their money where their mouth is, this whole scheme will be stillborn. It won't work. Mass non-compliance, it doesn't have to be majority. Even like I say, 1 million, 1.5 million is enough. Israel Diego Rivera, digital ID is the end even of pretense of freedom. Yeah, they're not pretending anymore. They've broken cover, and they've dropped their camouflage. Why? Why would they do that? Because they're going for broke. This is a double or quit situation for them. They are literally going for broke. Palantir is involved as well. It's all very serious because of the Palantir thing that Edward Snowden talks about. That's involved. Oh, God, goodness me. George Orwell's grave, I mean, it must need constant redigging because he keeps turning over and over and over and over in it, wouldn't he? Constantly. You should have walked the dog in protest. Sweeps. DJ, the protest gave it a boost. Yeah, I mean, there's been attempts to suppress this. As I said, the best coverage you're going to get is on amateur channels like the Crafty Nihilist. But we'll come on to that in a minute. But then the government issued if you remember, they did issue a response. I mean, they have to after 30,000. It's gone up. Oh, it's gone up to 283. It's gone up another few since then. It was 272 a minute ago. Now it's gone up 11 just while I was speaking. Okay, we'll go through this. This is their response. Now, Parliament has to considers all petitions to get more than 100,000 signatures for debate. Waiting 26 days for the debate. All right, so it's not closed yet. When it closes, it'll be above 3 million, I reckon. And look, 100,000. If they don't consider this for debate when it's got like 30 times the target, how are they going to explain that? Do not introduce digital ID cards. We demand a UK government immediately commits to not introducing a digital ID card system. It's not very good grammar here. Digital ID cards doesn't matter. There are reports that this is being looked at. Well, it's been more. He's basically said at the Labour Party conference he was going to do it. And these fuckers in the audience were clapping like trained seals. I mean, honestly, what the hell is wrong with them? What the hell is wrong with these people? I know, DJ, we're going to go dead. Yes, we have an answer from Starmer. He's basically a fuck you. We don't care, and we'll go into that in detail. But it is. I mean, of course, it's going to have to go through Parliament. But I mean, I'm a bit dubious about whether the MPs actually have the balls to do anything about it. I mean, the problem is that MPs are completely cucked. I mean, there's very few I have any respect for. There's Andrew Bridgen, of course, I think is really, really cool. There's a couple of others, but most of them are totally and utterly. Most of them are totally and utterly useless. They're completely insipid individuals who just toe the party line, careerists. So what they're going to do is they're going to try and steamroller the whole thing through. That's what they're trying to do. The government are going to try and steamroller it through Parliament. Now, there is hope. There may be a parliamentary rebellion because of this. Firstly, because of this, there may be a parliamentary rebellion because of this very petition. I mean, MPs I mean, one thing MPs are not, they may be stupid, but they're not too stupid. I bumped into Andrew Bridgen coming out of the pub. Crafty, I knew he'd be there. I knew he would be there. Did you say hello to him? Did you speak to him? Nihilist says, I would not be surprised if it's more signed, like 8 to 10 million, but they're faking the numbers to look less. Well, it wouldn't be the first time, would it? Would it be the first time, Nihilist? I mean, your view count is hugely off. They were showing less views than you had comments. Well, Green Tea has just made the point I was going to make. They fake my view. Look at my view. That's 32 viewers I've got now. I've had articles where I've had more comments than views. They're fake. Google are downplaying my ad. They're hoping I'll give up. You see, they're hoping that I will say, well, I'm going to not bother doing this channel anymore because no one watches it. What's the point? Well, I'm not buying that, and I'm not giving up. But if they can do that to me, of course they can do this to a petition. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more than that. Oh, Craft, you did speak to him. Yeah, nice to see what he said. A bit awkward. Oh, man. I'd have been kind of like, I'd have been starstruck, man. I mean, I'd have been starstruck. I really would. Greetings, Pooja Pants. That's a good name, Pooja Pants. Greetings. So, yeah, I mean, they downplay that. Lots of YouTubers and bloggers have their viewing figures downgraded deliberately. And we have Gary Robinson, Pride and Dignity, Gary. And Dennis Carr, welcome, all of you. Welcome. And it says, can the activity coordinators wear Hugo Boss? Well, if it's good enough for the Nazis, it's good enough for them. I bet Ben has lost 40 million watching. I bet Ben has 40 million watching, really. I wouldn't be surprised, mate. I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. I mean, I do meet people and they say, oh, I saw I watch your channel and stuff like that. Oh, Gary, you're the same. Yeah, I really wanted to come as well. I was really gutted, but I've got to look after this little doggy. Oh, hello, Sorenable. Welcome back. The name, I hear you ask. Yes, you're back. Welcome. So, but what thing about MPs is, right? I mean, obviously, there's heroes like Andrew Bridgen. Thanks, Mark. You know, I was sorry. I really was. I was really upset I couldn't get there. But you know, there'll be others. There will be others. This is the first of This is going to be the first of a series of them. If the government continues with this madness, there's going to be more, and I think they're going to grow in number, and the number of people attending will be more and more. Now, there's one thing MPs will. One good thing is even if the Starmer and his regime refuse to look at that, they say we'll sod the petition, and we'll go through his response in a minute. One thing that MPs do understand is that if they lose support, in other words, if their constituents don't like what they're doing, they might vote them out. And if they vote them out, they're going to have to go and get a proper job like everyone else, and they don't want to do that because they're used to having this cushy number where they sit in Parliament mouthing off for a while, then they go to some posh dinner in a restaurant in London. Oh, Dennis, we went on that earlier. We went on to this earlier. Now, I don't trust Farage. I think Farage is a political chameleon, and he will change his spots again for stripes because he's done this before. No, this Lives Matter says 39,999,000 of them are housewives crushing on Ben. Oh, yeah, I know. I am. I'm the kind of mature ladies Brad Pitt. You know, I am. All right, now, so I think the MPs might rebel, not because, apart from heroes like Andrew Bridgen, they might rebel simply for selfish reasons. Because I mean, they're already in this situation over the immigration thing. I mean, you know, more and more Labour seats are becoming marginal, despite the loveless landslide of the last election. More and more Labour seats are becoming marginals. Not mine, unfortunately. Oxford East is a completely cucked. It's a cucked, wokey hellhole, and I think Annalisa Dodds, who's the Labour's Women and Equalities Minister, I think she is in the safest seat possible. And I think they would put someone with that particular job in a really safe seat. Oh, hi, Soren. I hope you're well. I think Miles Johnston is of the coffee for a while. I love my coffee. Miles, I don't know what Miles is doing at the moment. He was sick. He was ill for a while, but he's better now. Luckily. So I've got a feeling we might have a backbench rebellion in Parliament, both Tory and Labour, because really it's the Uniparty. Everyone knows it's the Uniparty now. I don't think anyone actually. What's this down? What's going on down here? Sorry, I'm not talking about my body. I'm talking about my chair. Okay. I think they realise now they will work together on this. The Tories and Labour. They've cut the crap now. At least they're out in the open now. We can see them. They're not pretending anymore, as someone said in chat. And they will work together, but they're going to face a backbench rebellion of their own MPs simply because those MPs want to keep their seats. So if they can do the right thing for the wrong reason, that's fine with me. Anyway, Starmer, in his magnificence, decided to give us a response. Here we go. And I wrote an article about this, actually, you might have seen, called ID Petition Response, Omissions and Distortions, which, of course, is a play on the 9/11 report, Omissions and Distortions by David Ray Griffin, back to the 9/11 thing. Okay, so I'll just read this out and I'll put in my comments, because I did running commentary through all this. We will introduce a digital ID within this Parliament. That means before March the 26th. To help tackle illegal immigration, making accessing government services easier and enable wider efficiencies. That was a Freudian slip. Of course, that's not their real reason. They know it, and they know we know it, and they know we know it, and they know we know they know it, and we know they know we know they know we know it, etc., etc. We will consult you on the details soon. It has not literally not even been put into a parliamentary bill yet. Why are they're so certain it's going to be put in? They're desperate to put this in. It's not even a parliamentary bill yet. It hasn't been, but they're still saying no, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mean, just God bless the House of Lords. They did this over the Online Safety Act. They just said we're going to do it before it was even in Parliament. And of course, the House of Commons they just waved it through with a nod. The House of Lords blocked it. They got rid of the legal but harmful clause. That's why Starmer's been attacking the hereditary peers. I won't hear a word against the House of Lords. These hereditary peers are what they call old white men. Ugh. Right, that's what the left call them, and it's conventional to call them. But these are like patriotic, sensible, rational men with a sense of responsibility. Some women as well, with a sense of responsibility and patriotism. And I think you need that to keep these, because if it weren't for these people like that, these career politicians would just run amok, and that's a nightmare. It sounds like to me. Oh, we should elect people say we should have an elected upper house. Oh, God help us if we elected the bloody upper house as well. It would be like the US or Australian Senate, They've already taken away the judicial powers of the House of Lords, which is why we have a Supreme Court. Because the House of Lords is under attack for this reason. And I tell you what, they may be our only hope for stopping. Well, not they won't be our only hope for stopping this, but it may be the only hope we have for actually stopping the bill going through. Okay, so they're going to say nothing about this plot. Then they'll tell us afterwards what they think it's going to be, and they've already saying this to the MPs. I mean, this is, I think, maybe psychology. They're saying that this is meant to address the MPs as much as it's meant to address us. To put in this kind of psychology, talking about like it's a foregone conclusion, to psychologize them into voting for it. The government has announced plans to introduce a digital ID system which is fit for the needs of modern Britain. In other words, meaning their needs to destroy Britain. We are committed. Oh, God, I can hardly bring myself to say this, even in a Starmer voice. We are committed to making people's everyday lives easier and more secure, and to putting more control in your hands. Bollocks! Including over your own data, and driving growth through harnessing digital technology, which means, of course, creating new ways to control people using digital technology. Just imagine if this technology had been around when George Orwell was writing 1984, man. Just imagine I mean, there is an electronic technology in that book, just sort of science fictional up to a point, but it's the telescreen, yeah. Honestly, man, I mean, Big Brother would have had a field day with modern technology. How are you getting on in the live chat? Welcome. Any new people I haven't seen? Welcome. We also want to learn from countries which have digitized government services for the benefit of their citizens. In line with our manifesto commitment to modernize government. See, this is crazy. I mean, look, firstly, we don't have to emulate nations that have sunk further down into the globalist pit than Britain has. That's like saying, well, Britain had Brexit and the rest of the countries in the EU. Well, they're still in it, so why can't we do the same? Does that invalidate Brexit? Of course it doesn't. But this is like, oh, it's. They always say this sort of thing, and I'll come back to this because this is a common excuse. So, well, Denmark has a national ID card system, yeah, and how's the Danish government getting on with stopping its own illegal immigration problem? How about Germany? Germany has national ID. Germany has had national ID since the 80s. I know because my German pen pal, when he came over to Britain, he had a national identity card. How are they getting on with? They've got a worse migration crisis than we do. Currently, when UK citizens and residents use public services like or start a new job or, for example, buy alcohol, they often need to present an assortment of physical documents to prove who they are or things about themselves. All right, no, we need to prove who we are to start a job and to buy alcohol. It's at the discretion of the shopkeeper. So if you look like you might be underage, they might ask to see ID. If you don't, that's fine. I mean, I haven't been asked. It's been a few years since anyone asked me. But it's just proof of age, yeah. And guess what? We already have passports. We already have driving licenses. We already have other forms of identification for that have worked fine for ages. This is both bureaucratic for the individual and creates space for abuse and fraud. Problem, reaction, solution. You see what I mean? There's never a good reason for it. It's always a solution to a problem. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a warning sign, actually, when the government suddenly decide that something that's been common practice since time immemorial, they suddenly come out and pretend, they say, well, it's unworkable now, and we need to change it. That's a bit of a red flag. This includes known issues with illegal working and modern-day slavery, of which the government couldn't give two pieces of shit. They've never given a damn about it. Honestly, if they get away with this, you won't hear a peep from them about any of these issues ever again. It's like do you remember in the 90s they had the New Age Traveler menace? Do you remember that, the New Age Traveler thing? And this is like these are basically just like the hippies who kind of like set up independent like economies and stuff like that. And there was this big New Age Traveler menace. Every headline in the Sun was about how some New Age Traveler had done something awful. And this was when the government were trying to push through the criminal justice bill, which is very Orwellian terms because it was the exact opposite. And when that bill was passed, and this was to do with like lawful assembly and things like this, when that bill was passed into law, the New Age Travelers just vanished from the media because they weren't needed anymore. They were the bait in the trap. Further, there are yes. I should point out that I will carry on. I'm getting ahead of myself. While the fragmented approach and multiple systems across government make it difficult for people to access vital services. Are these the same vital services that government is doing everything it can to degrade and degenerate? Things like the NHS, the social services, social support, social income support, things like that, social security. If you just make them more functional, these problems would solve themselves. Further, there are too many people who are excluded, like 1 in 10 UK adults who don't have a physical photo ID and so can struggle to prove who they are and access the products and services they are entitled to. Well, most of those 1 in 10 are elderly, so they're not likely to be asked there for ID for alcohol. And why has this never been an issue before? Why is it suddenly an issue now? Again, this red flag. Why have all these other ways of resolving this problem that have been common practice for years and have been completely functional have suddenly become unworkable? Why? That's a red flag. Something that works perfectly, the government say it's not working, we need to replace it with something new. We want to tackle these interlinked issues. They've got no intention of tackling any issues like that. And indeed, like I said, if they ever come out, if they ever get away with this, they're not going to. But should they get away with it, hypothetically, we wouldn't hear a peep about this ever again. We wouldn't hear a peep. We wouldn't. It's exactly now the you see now the Online Safety Act is in force. There's no, you don't get all these horror stories about children watching porn online. You know. So he says here, to tackle these interlinked issues, we will introduce a new national digital ID. No, you won't. You'll do no such thing. And you know what? It's again, this is addressing the MPs. It's psychology. They doctors do this. They talk when they want to encourage parents to have their children V'd, a V worded. They don't offer it to them. They just talk about it's like it's foregone conclusion when your child has had its V for this and V for that, A, B, and C. So, and they're trained to do that. Health visitors and nurses are trained to do that. They're trained to talk about it like, well, it's kind of, we just assume it. We assume you're going to do that. All right, here we go. This is not a card, but a new digital identity. So whether it's on a piece of paper or in a mobile phone's memory, it doesn't make any difference. Except with electronics, it's far more serious with electronics. It's far more open to abuse. This will be available for free. Oh, that's nice of them. So all UK citizens and legal residents aged 16 and over. Although we will consider through consultation if this should be aged 13 and over. All right, get the kids in and get the kids. That's why I'm so glad my daughter is not any younger, because I walked past her old school the other day and it's bloody got CCTV cameras on poles. This is the school where they tried to take her fingerprints 20 years ago. So they're going to register the youngest citizens. Now, the problem with this is it's not just expanding the database. It's getting the youngest people in society used to Big Brother practices early on. These are the youngest people who've grown up in this society, who've never known a world without this. This is why Winston said in 1984 to fear the children the most. If you remember, he was terrified of the kids. Remember when he visits his friend Parsons, the kids, his son is looking at him and asks him, "Are you a thought criminal?" And that's the most terrifying thing Winston can hear. It's much worse hearing that from a child than an adult, because the adults remember. The adults have memories, even though Big Brother's tried to erase those memories and make them forget, put them down the memory hole. Thought crime and things like that, black white. Winston is never forgotten. He remembers the old nursery rhymes, things like that. Over time, people will be able to use this digital identity seamlessly to access a range of public and private sector services, with the aim of making our everyday lives easier and more secure. Urgh. There's always bait in the trap. Yeah, you do want your life made easier and more secure, don't you? You do. You care about children, don't you? This is why you support. Don't you care about children's welfare? Yeah. It's always moral blackmail, carrot and stick. Yeah, it's always. It will not be compulsory to obtain a digital ID, but it will be mandatory for some applications. Yes, that's right. As I said, we won't force you to have it. You can always decline. You always have the right to say no. Yeah, we'll make your life unbearable without it. You can't apply for a job. You can't see a doctor. You can't do A, B, and C. And eventually you won't be able to buy anything from a shop and you'll have to starve to death in the gutter. But it's still your choice. No one's forcing you. This is the same with the V-word passports. At what point does this... Well, it's like this idea, well, you want consequence-free free speech and stuff like this. At what point do these conditions, these hoops you have to jump through, at what point can you just say, look, this constitutes coercion? Any court in the land would say that's coercion. For example, The new digital ID will build on gov.uk one login and the gov.uk wallet, capital letters, to drive the transformation of public services. Over time, this system will allow people to access government services such as benefits or tax records without needing to remember multiple logins or provide physical documents. What's wrong? What's wrong with multiple logins? We've never had this problem before, have we? I mean, for goodness sake. Even, internet security people say, oh, don't use the same password for everything. Use different passwords for different things. I mean, again, this is something that's never been a problem. Now, suddenly it's a problem. I wonder why. Why is something that's never been a problem? If something that's never been a problem is suddenly a problem, it means it's just an excuse. It's a pretext for a solution which will solve this non-existent problem. It will significantly. Sorry, this Starmer voice is making me cough. It will significantly streamline interactions with the state. I don't want my interactions with the state streamlined significantly, thank you very much. Saving time and reducing frustrating paperwork, while also helping to create opportunities for more joined up government services like bloody hell, like hell. They love, on a purely selfish level, they just love complex bureaucracy because it gives them the excuse to create a vast numbers of overpaid jobs for the civil service. You just imagine Sir Humphrey Appleby, can you, in the Yes Minister talking about this? It's almost like something he would say. Yes, Minister, you must realise we must significantly streamline interactions, save time, reduce frustrating paperwork, while helping create opportunities for more joined-up government services. Yes, Humphrey, anything you say. International examples show how beneficial this could be. Yeah, these. That's right. Yes, these. How have countries, especially in recent years, who introduced this system, how have they fared? Well, several of them have employed a French electronics firm. I think it's from France, to build a database which is supposedly immune to cyber attacks and fraud. And the moment it was introduced, it was broken, and there were like cloned accounts coming out of it, and there were like fake cards, and it was like a little sort of black market industry in fake identity. It's again, this is just hubris. This is chutzpah. They say, well, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be absolutely fine. You just trust us. And it's, again, international examples. So, in other words, this is like the little kids saying, what, they say that the parents say to the child, you've got to go to bed now. It's 9 o'clock. But Johnny's mum and dad let him sit up and watch TV late. Yes, but we're not Johnny's mum and dad. We're your mum and dad, and we decide differently. This is Britain. This is not another country. We could do things our own way. Oh, for instance, Estonia has a system that reportedly saves each citizen hours every month by streamlining. God, that word again. Streamlining unnecessary bureaucracy. And the move to become a digital society has saved taxpayers money. Right, so he wants to model Britain on an ex-Soviet republic that's being used as a footstool for NATO. And I mean, again, whenever you hear the word streamlining, I cringe and I brace myself. It's a word in the NHS. They use it all the time. And saving. Why do they care about saving taxpayers' money when they're raising tax? When tax is as high as it's ever been in history, and and at the same time they can't afford this, they can't afford that, they can't fill the potholes in the road, they don't have the resources. They keep saying we don't have the resources to do that, and we have to raise the pension age because we can't afford it. You have to raise the retirement age. I mean, is it worth paying national insurance? I mean, you're never going to, there's no other insurance. There's no private insurance scheme where you pay money into it, and they'll say, well, we might give you a payment at some point after you're dead, but so you don't mind paying us, do you? I mean, but so I don't believe them when they don't care. They don't want to save taxpayers' money. What are they doing with all this money anyway? By the end of this Parliament, employers will have to check the new digital ID when conducting a right to work check. Well, they won't be able to do that when 3 million people tell you where to stick your digital ID. If employers can't work with a system where there's this huge number of mass non-compliance. This will help combat criminal gangs who promise access to the UK labour market in order to profit from dangerous and illegal channel crossings. But Starmer, you and your government are the biggest client for those criminal gangs. They wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you. The Albanian government are complaining now about this. The Albanian government has stopped complaining about the criminal gangs. They're complaining about the British government who's paying them. This will create a fairer system between UK citizens and legal residents. I mean, do they really think we're stupid? This will crack down on forged documents. Well, this is only an issue because they made it happen, and indeed, documents being forged. I mean, this is not going. There's going to be fake. There will be fake versions of this digital ID, and this will streamline. Oh God, again, streamline the process for employers driving up compliance. Driving up. That sounds like a threat. It sounds like they're going to get the whips out, but we won't comply. We won't comply. Further, it will create business information showing where employers are conducting checks. Again. Oh my goodness me! What they mean by that is we want to put the Big Brother camera onto employers, not just employees. So driving more targeted action against non-compliant employers. Oh, I see. This is a threat to the employers now. It's a threat to the employers. Well, the thing is, what are you going to do when thousands of private sector employers are forced into overlooking your Big Brother papers, please laws because, they're going to reach a point where they can't recruit people because there's too many people outside the system. For clarity, it will not be a criminal offence not to hold a digital ID, and police will not be able to demand to see a digital ID as part of a stop and search. To begin with, I mean, they can say anything like that. They can say it won't be. If you accept this database into your life and you go on this database, it won't be used for A, B, and C. It'll only be used for this little thing here. It'll only be used to take what they said to my daughter's school said to me. It'll only be used to take out library books. It'll only be used to pay for school dinners. But once the infrastructure is in place, it can be adapted into any role they want. The important thing is to prevent that infrastructure of being introduced in the first place. That's what matters. You stop it from coming into place. You have to deal with. I think you have to deal with capabilities, not professed intents. And he says, privacy and security will also be central to the digital ID program. They couldn't give a shit about either of those things. We will follow data protection law and best practice in creating a system which people can rightly put their trust in. Well, they're going to follow data protection law and best practice in a system which we can put our trust in. Is this the same data protection law that doxed 100,000 Afghans to the Taliban? Oh God, there's been other cock-ups like that. People in the UK already know and trust digital credentials held in their phone wallets to use in their everyday life, from paying for things to storing boarding passes. Those are related to banks and retail. They cannot be adapted into a total state control system. Now, this is interesting. That's a very interesting sentence, or a pair of sentences. Because why do they even need to say that in this response? You know why? Because we know it can, right? And also, we know that we're suspicious, don't you, Starmer? This is a kind of like slipped in reassurance without actually saying they're reassuring us and thinking we're going to bloody believe them. The new system will be built on similar technology and be your boarding pass to government. Oh, give boarding pass to government. It's a completely different thing. An electronic document for a specific purpose within a very limited database, for example, an airline, or a supermarket loyalty account, is totally different to a state-run national identity system. digitally checkable digital credentials, that's a tautology, are more secure than physical documents, which can be lost, copied, or forged, and often means sharing more information than what is necessary for a given transaction. Oh, what? Well, firstly, I don't believe they're more secure than physical documents. Of course, they can be lost or copied or forged, but then so can this. It's no difference. But it's saying it's ever so convenient. You just have to scan your phone over something instead of like getting money out your pocket. That's the whole. I don't know if you've been following my Tesco Butlerian Jihad series on Japan My Voice, where I talk about this in more detail about this, the fact that my local supermarket is they're trying to persuade their customers to use automatic tills, and I'm someone who refuses to. The new system is designed in accordance with the highest security standards to protect it against a comprehensive range of threats, including cyber attacks. Yeah. So are air traffic control computers, and they're being hacked every day. They've just been hacked again in Scandinavia, which, by the way, it's nothing to do with the drones. That's something different. We will launch a public consultation in the coming weeks. Well, they haven't done it yet. This was like 2 weeks ago. They haven't done it yet. And work closely with employers, trade unions, civil society groups, and other stakeholders to co-design the scheme. Co-design the scheme. And ensure it is as secure and inclusive as possible. They're not going to have it. There's not going to be any real consultation on this. None. There's going to be very little, if not none. Even this is like it's kind of an illusion of democracy. Even if you're put in prison, you'll find there are inmates councils, right, where you get together with your warders and the prison governor every so often, and they listen patiently to your opinions, and your wants and your needs. So those who have total power and control over you, we'll sit down and they'll say, okay, well let's let's hear what you have to say, but you don't have any you don't have any weight. You don't actually have any leverage in this conversation. You're just asking nicely. So don't give us that crap, Starmer. Following consultation, we will seek to bring forward legislation to underpin this system. You see, shouldn't that be the other way round? Shouldn't you be putting this into legislation before you do all the groundwork? And then he talks about this. Guess who's behind this, right? The people who are designing this are the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology. You could just see it on the pyramid building, can't you? Next to the Ministry of Peace and the Ministry of Plenty and the Ministry of Truth, and then the Department of Science, Innovation and Technology. That is just so incredibly Orwellian, isn't it? It's so Orwellian. It's unbelievable. And do you know what? I mean, I'll just go back to the live chat now and just see who's there. Welcome everyone new. If anyone new has joined and I haven't had a chance to talk, hello Hatchy. Ben, what would Kev Baker think of this shite? Yeah, for fuck's sake, can't things moved on? I'd love to talk this over with Kev Baker and Gareth Davis and Ian R. Crane and everyone else. Oh, Greensy, will I be able to visit the UK? Finally got my passport right after the lockdowns. Well, you'll need a visa to get into. You'll need a visa, I suppose. But yeah. Anyway, welcome the Wow Signal, 60QUJ5. Who else is new here? Mab is here. Welcome, Mab. Brighton Amazing is here. Hello, Brighton Amazing. So I can't go through all these comments now. Mark going. Night, Mark. You're leaving. Okay, night. Okay. So, I mean, the thing is, a lot of people who are opposed to this, a lot of the opposition, it's very interesting, this, because if you ask hello, David Splendid Isolation, less nihilistic Mark leaves, and David Splendid Isolation appears. Welcome. A lot of the people who, when this opposition began, very often the people opposing it actually weren't really. It wasn't really a kind of like, they weren't like cogitating it over and going through all the details like I was. It was a kind of intuitive thing. It was like an intuition. It was just like instinctive. They just sensed it was wrong. They just sensed it was dangerous. And I think a lot of the best decisions we make are come from that gut feeling. And never ignore those kinds of gut feelings, because a lot of people say, well, what's wrong with digital ID? And I say, well, I don't know, but it just sounds really bad, and it's been done by a guy who I don't trust. That's all you need. Hey, Sweep says, the precursor for all this digital prison for humanity was, of course, going digital, throw away smartphones, use cash, and stop climate change alarmists, transhuman solar flares, stop all. Well, I haven't watched your video yet, but I know you've. This is probably going to be in your new video. Sweeps has a new video on his Rumble and BitChute, so I'll check those out. Yeah. Look, David says here, the illegal immigrant mother of my grandchild has already been forced to take this digital ID. It's all biometric app on her phone and tracks all her doings. Yeah, there's many other. I'll give you another example in a minute. Hi, see how we are living. How do you do? You are number 6. Yes, indeed. No, I'm not a number. I'm a free man. I can't remember the whole quote, but I actually said it at that talk. Remember we did that Day for Freedom in Oxford, and I did a talk. Yeah. So trust your instincts, guys. Now, this came up, right, just literally the day before that. I've got to thank the Crafty Nihilist for this, because they told me about it. Right. Here we go. This was in the BBC. Where's the BBC version of this? Yeah, this is very worrying. It's already started. Digital veteran card could be case study for ID rollout, says Minister. Digital veteran cards, yeah. About 300,000 ex-military with physical veterans cards can now download a digital version to their smartphone in a move to make it easier to prove their status. You see, you want to make things easier, don't you? Oh dear, this is just unbelievable. Last month, the government announced compulsory digital IDs in a bid to clamp down on illegal work. Oh, yes, see, last month, the government issued compulsory digital IDs, yeah, and then said underneath, immediately, without even a comma between two halves of the sentence, we want to clamp down on illegal working. The digital veteran card is optional for now, but the government says it will allow former service personnel to show their entitlement in person to services such as GP and mental health support, supporting housing, careers advice, as well as reduced entry prices to museums and money off their shopping. Yeah, so basically, it's what the Americans, they call it the GI Bill, in which military veterans are allowed certain privileges. And indeed, what they're saying now to them is this: we can only get this. You can't get this unless you have. I mean, it's not. They're saying now they're giving it's optional now, but it won't be forever. It'll get to the point where they won't be able to get some of this service, and some of them are dependent on him. And some of these people are injured. You know, they're injured in the line of duty, and they're dependent on it. They might have lost their legs or something in a car bomb, and they're like they're in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? I mean, they say, "But look, you don't worry. If you don't want your benefits, you don't have to have them." I'm sure if you sit on some street corner, someone will chuck you 5p sooner or later. This is just sick. It's absolutely sick. And of course, this is just the start of it. This is just the start of it. Green Tea says, are there any countries that are not pushing for digital? I can't think of any, you know. Now, the big problem is, right, China and India are introducing it. Now, what's worrying about that is that this is clearly a global policy. It's an agenda that covers the entire world. Starmer is just doing what he's told by Tony Blair. Tony Blair, of course, is behind this. The boomerang prime minister, because whenever you throw him away, he just comes back. He's behind this, of course. Was it the Tony Blair Foundation for International Cooperation or something horribly Orwellian? It's called that. So India and China. Now, India and China have huge populations. In fact, if you put them together, if you put the populations of those two countries together, you're getting on for almost, I think it's almost like half of the people in the world. I mean, I think it's about 40% or 45% of all the people on Earth live in India or China. And so once you get those people on the database, you only need a couple more countries, and you've got more people on the database than off it. You see? Oh. So let's just have a look at and see if there's any. I want to see if there's any government videos about this, because I want to get onto the crafty nihilist. All right, Paz, he sees ex-army Paz. He's talking about it. He's probably going to mention the veteran thing. Let's see. Digital ID. Let's see if there's anything on YouTube. Let's have a bit of a cringe fest, shall we? Oh no, here we go. Oh, that's good. This is the first hit we get. Thousands march through London to protest digital ID plans. Here we go. Oops, where are we? This is the first hit you get. Here we go.
Thousands marched through central London today to oppose plans for a mandatory digital ID system.
Well done.
Demonstrators were calling for the scheme to be scrapped, with critics warning it threatens privacy and fundamental
Thousands of demonstrators means like about 150,000
freedoms. The plans, aimed at tackling illegal migration, have faced opposition across the political spectrum, including from the Conservative.
All right, here we go. This war. I see where Starmer rolls out veteran cards. First digital ID rolled out already. You see, they've already started. Yay, no to ID protest. And Boris Johnson blasts digital ID as ex-PM.
Digital ID. Pro, against, right idea?
I think it'll be HS2 online.
Is it not similar to...
Say, if he was Prime Minister, he'd be bloody doing it right now. Now he's not Prime Minister, he can speak his mind. But if he's Prime Minister, he'd be doing what he was told. Now I'm just going to watch. I'm going to play this. This is digital ID to be compulsory for all adults. 3 weeks ago. This is only 3 weeks old. This whole saga.
We start here in the UK on an issue that's
okay. This is going to be interesting, right? Because as you know, if you click dislike, it doesn't show up, does it? Now, this video has had 287,000 views, right? Now, 1.5 thousand people like the video. Okay, so that is roughly 1 in 150 people watching this video like it. Now, so there's only 1 in 150 people have thumbed this up, right? How many have thumbed it down? Well, no one, obviously. Everyone else is just neutral. That's what they want us to think, don't they? They want us to think that. Let's have a look at the comments. Not going to lie, they're shooting themselves in the foot with this one. Yeah, mass civil disobedience. It hasn't divided the country. We don't want it ever. Resist digital ID. Is there anyone here in favour of it? Petition almost 500,000. That's 3 weeks ago. Yeah, referendum required. It's the digital part. Yeah. Wow, the UK is truly a despotic nightmare. Sign the petition. No one wants it. No one's going to have it. This is the good news is I'm actually really happy. I didn't think there'd be this much opposition. I didn't think it would be quite this strong. And this really makes me happy, because this is really this is unstoppable. If people, I mean, the opposition is unstoppable. Hatchie, I can't believe what I'm listening to, Ben. I know what I mean. Hatchie, this honestly, if 20 years ago when I first started Panwo, I would not have predicted I'd be. It's not quite 20 years ago, actually. It's 18 and a half odd years ago, but I wouldn't have predicted that I'd be in this situation right now, saying what I'm saying now. I really wouldn't. Let's have a look at the crafty nihilist. Let's have a look. Here we go. Crafty nihilist, because they were in London today. I wanted to join them and I couldn't. Here we are. There we go. Right. Look at all here we got. This is great. Is Mark? Can you see this? Oh, well, you can't see it. Okay.
Hi, this is Mark at the Crafty Nihilist at the Stop Digital ID protest in London. I'm here because this is just the next massive step in enslavement of us in Britain and around the world. It's all part of the agenda, but we know this is just one other step. And after this comes in, it's going to be part of just locking us down forever, basically. So we can't travel where we want, we can't go where we can't work where we want. This is about avoiding our enslavement. So we have to keep protesting and fighting against it for our freedom.
Yeah, well said, Mark. Please do subscribe to the Crafty Nihilist. There's a whole list of videos here they've done. There's some live streams as well they've done here. Oh, no, this is it. It's on the videos here. I was on their last live stream. You see, that's cool. These do subscribe to the Crafty Nihilist. And David Icke. Here's David Icke. Yay! There he is. There's our Dave. I knew he'd be there. Right. Where's that video? There's a great video. Hey, Crafty. Yeah, you did a good job. Hatchie says, I've been with you way back. Unbelievable on mass mind control. Yeah, I know you've been watching for ages, Hatchie, and I appreciate that. I do. Now, there's this brilliant. I put it on Twitter. Hang on a sec. Let's see if I can find it on Twitter. But there's a great video. Someone's put together a really good video, which just sums this whole thing up. I want to show you. Let's see if we can find it. It'll be on my media tab. Oh, here it is. Right, here we go. Yeah, this is great.
Can I see your Brit card, please?
I don't have one. I don't have a smartphone.
Can I get another pint, please? Sorry, sir. Your Brit card says you've exceeded your alcohol quota for this week.
Sorry, sir. Your Brit card says you've already flown twice this year. We're having to restrict passengers with higher than average emissions profiles.
Sorry, I'm afraid your funds have been temporarily frozen. Your recent social media post did not align with the government's narrative.
Sorry, I'm afraid your Brit card says you cannot purchase any more meat this week as part of our commitment to achieving net zero.
I've just logged in using my Brit card and it's saying I've already had 3 hours of internet today and it's locked me out. Can I see your Brit card, please?
Right.
I don't have one. I don't have a smartphone.
The guys, that is exactly what the plan is. That is exactly Oh, Crafty wants me to play this. Yeah. All right, I will. Yeah, I will, Crafty. That is exactly the kind of society that this system is designed to create. It really, really is. I'll go back to the Crafty Nihilist because, yeah, I'll play this one. And then here we go. Here we go. Keir Starmer, a banker, is a banker. Right. Oh yeah. I think this is the one that we sung on the 13th of September.
Keir Starmer's a wanker. Keir Starmer's a wanker. Keir Starmer's a
Yeah, that was Liz. You could hear Liz actually singing there. Yeah. I was outside 10 Downing Street. Do you notice the fence? Do you see the fence they've got there? I mean, the fence is bloody unbelievable. I mean, they've got this big fence over Downing Street. I don't know when this is. See the big fence there? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at another picture of it because it's fortified. Down. It used to be a public street. You could walk down. You could walk down it. Downing Street fence. Here we are. Look, it's Downing Street. Did it say something about the 30th anniversary of the fence? When did Downing Street in London first get gates? The 30th anniversary of the Downing Street gate, October 2019. So that was in 1999. They actually, no, sorry, 1989 they did that. Oh my God. It's 30 years that general public access to Downing Street was barred, as permission was given to the ornate protective gates that now guard the home of the Prime Minister. There you go. Oh, that's before then. Now look at these here now. They're only from 1989. Well. Not long. Now, why does he need to be protected? Oh, what was the website for that last clip, Ben? Oh, it was here we go. Here we are, sweeps. It is the Crafty Nihilist. I mean, she's there. She's there, and Mark's now gone to bed, I think. But the Crafty Nihilist, well, the Crafty Nihilists are both of them. They're a Gestalt entity. Liz and Mark Froud. There it is, the Crafty Nihilist. So go and sub to them, sweeps. They're good. They're good people. They're good people. Now, why does the Prime Minister need a fortified fence at the end of the street where he lives, or she, or whoever it is? They fenced in the White House too, says Green Tea. Why is that? Yeah. Why do they need to be behind a fence? Why is it whenever one of these goons goes out on the street, like David Lammy, I saw David Lammy out getting heckled the other day, right? It's really funny, right? Here we go. David Lammy gets heckled. This is funny. Heckled. Well, he was heckled. This is him heckled at the synagogue, but he was heckled. He's heckled on the streets as well. Where's the one where he's walking down the street? Yeah, he speaks. He dares to show his face at the bloody synagogue vigil, or the synagogue memorial. Okay. There's somebody else. Let's have a look. Politician. I'll make it more heckled. Politician heckled. UK. All of them are in this situation. All the famous ones are in this situation. Oh, it's not. I told Jacob Rees-Mogg asleep. That was funny. It's just Lammy being heckled at the vigil. No worries. I mean, there was there was one where David Lammy was being. He was walking down the streets and he had like about 15 policemen around him, and people were literally coming up. People were literally running after him, shouting abuse at him, and things like that. Now, all the major politicians are like that now. They literally cannot walk the streets without massive numbers of bouncers around them, with mass security. Now, what does that tell you? Why? When you think it's so normalized, it's so normal, people just think, well, that's the way all nations are. But it's not true. It's not true. Ian Smith, the last popular leader of Zimbabwe, he didn't need bodyguards. He used to walk around the town, the town of Salisbury, now called Harare. He used to sit in cafes and people would come and sit at his table. He used to have conversations with people. People used to come up from the street and speak to him. He may have had one or two bodyguards. I mean, bodyguards there. Maybe a couple of people just look after him. But he didn't need a fence around him. Mugabe did, who took over. Robert Mugabe did, of course. So what this means is that the government, the state has lost credibility with the citizens. This relationship between the state and the citizen has broken down in most nations. And I'd say it's time for an amicable divorce. Less amicable one if necessary. I just get the feeling we are living in a kind of, it's like a bad marriage with the state definitely playing the role of a kind of histrionic wife. And yeah, I think we need to just agree to part company. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, DJ. You're welcome. Thanks for facilitating these chats. You're very welcome. So what else? What else have I got on my? Let's go back to my notes. I think that's it now. So any more questions or comments, guys? Any more questions? Hachi says, get prepared for a breakdown, and the AA ain't going to be there. On the breakdown, massive wake up. It's got to go deep. Yeah, I mean, this crisis has been. There's a crisis. They will generate a crisis out of desperation. They will generate some disaster because they're in such a horrific situation now. We're just there's such a desperate situation. Their great work of the ages that has literally been going on for 5,000 years is now failing, and they can't imagine a situation where it could fail, and they'll do all kinds of things. I mean, in my book, Roswell Rising, a novel of disclosure, available at all good bookshops now, price £10. I actually address this in the book. I mean, the book is actually about that. Because there's a time in the book, it's a trilogy, there's 3 books. There's the moment you think that the good guys have won and the Illuminati are gone, and then they come back using more crafty means. They haven't really gone. They're still there, but they use a more they use a different means. DJ, I've done it inside. You should watch. Have you watched my watch party of Soylent Green? I did a Soylent Green watch party. Yes, microchips. That's the next thing. These are already coming in some places where everything that's on the Brit card, we put in a chip under your skin. That'll be the next thing. The problem is it'll be psychotronic. It'll have the ability to control your body and maybe even your mind. What's next for the people? Right. Obviously, they're going to carry on lashing out like this. They're a cornered rat, and they're going to carry on. They're going to carry on trying to find desperate ways of maintaining their new world order. As Paul Whittle says here, yeah, the NWO ramping up their activities, yeah, and they're going to try and find more and more desperate ways of doing that, and they could try many things. There's many things they might try. They might try another disease. And David, I sees this biblically. I know the revelation, the mark of the beast tech. Yeah, there's a 666 encoded into every barcode apparently. And hello, Phuket. What's all this then? Oh, Phuket, my goodness me, you missed the show. What's going to happen next? Well, I mean, it's one of the more extreme examples, but I think they may go for the fake alien invasion. It's possible that 3i Atlas will be used as a part of that, or the UFOs. I've done entire videos on that. Yeah. So they're definitely more protests. There's going to be more protests, DJ, and I will not miss any unless I have to. They're already doing things with sound and vibration, electricity everywhere. Yeah. Oh, the electronic grid is causing more and more people getting electrosensitive. And if you look at these sort of people like Mark Steele and Barry Trower, they're saying this is deliberate. It's a deliberate thing. Yeah. Yes, Dennis, use cashlessness is here. Yeah, use cash whenever you can. That's why when I did my talk at the Oxford Freedom Day, I gave away £10 to somebody. DJ, the 3 Atlas stuff seems strange. NASA lack of data. Oh yeah, well I'll be coming back to that. Yes, I'll be coming back to that with another video. I've got a video planned actually for which should be probably in a few days. But yeah, I'll come back. I'll do a video for perihelion, which is just 10 days away now. Oh, by the way, guys, on a lighter note, I've uploaded my comedy video to TikTok. Here it is. Charlie Vitch comes to Oxford. You can get it on TikTok or Facebook on my Facebook video group. All right, so go and check that out. I'm quite proud of that. Hopefully you find it funny. Green Sea, I won't stop at a store that won't take my cash. Good for you. I mean, I'll quit going to the one I go to now if they ever shut down the human tills. If they ever say, whenever I go in there, and there's no one serving there, I go up and I ask them, could someone come and serve me at these tills? Cash is king, exactly. And I will stop using that shop if they ever try to force me to use those auto tills. Sweeps. Anything digital is hackable. Your whole life control leveraged. The military for safety is using analog. By the way, well, of course, yeah, that's interesting that they're sticking to analog because of course of cyber warfare, isn't it? Yeah, 5th generational warfare, cyber attacks, sophisticated biological weapons. Non-lethal weapons, psychological warfare, that kind of thing. Diego Rivera, are we living in a police state? Is the Vatican Catholic? Guys, I think that's everything. If anyone has any more last questions or comments, post them now. If not, go and watch my comedy video, and I think obviously I'll be coming back to this. Definitely, I'll be coming back to this, but. Yeah, it's been a good show. Diego Rivera, links to aliens and digital ID. Not yet, as far as I know, but who knows? Maybe that'll come about. I just want to say thank you to everyone. What's your thoughts on disclosure? Says the Crafting Lies. Here we go. Right, let's stay up till 3 a.m. Crafty. Oh. Cheers, Dennis. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Dennis Pooja Pants, the Big Atlas spaceship. Yeah. Dennis Carr, Green Tea, Crafty Nihilist, Israel Diego Rivera, DJ B2, Sweeps Foxman, Green Tea. I've said Green Tea. Paul Wills, 69 Phuket, David Splendid Isolation. Who else is here? Have I missed anyone? Dennis Carr down the right. Less nihilistic Mark, of course. The other half of the Gestalt entity known as the Crafty Nihilist. DJ B2. Nihilist Lives Matter. Hachi Hachi. Who else is here? I will say thank you to everyone. Oh, the Wow Signal. Brighton Amazing. David Schultz. Michael Snow. Oh, I missed that one. Exactly, Michael. Exactly. And the Teddy and Paddy Bear adventures. Yes. Sorenable. And who else is here? I think that's sorry if I missed anyone out. Apologies, but thank you very much. Gary Robinson, of course. Yeah, Gary Robinson too. Mab, yes, Mab. Yeah, definitely. Now, I think I'll play out. Let's play out once again with the Panwo TV theme, music by Rhiannon Jones. So, thank you very much, everyone. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order.
Conspiracies, government cover-ups, Earth mysteries, monster cryptids, Cybe saucers, and black triangle, Panwo. Black goo and Antarctica, lizard kings from the seventh star, men in black and Queen Boudica, Panwo. Black goo and Antarctica, Kepler's from the seventh star, men in black and Queen Boudica, Panwo. Welcome to the Panwo Show. Once I was alone, I was petrified, thinking I could be abducted when the bins went out. And so I spent so many nights thinking about the gray that might be there. But I grew strong, and now I really couldn't care. Save me from the aliens, save me from the government, save me from the men in black who call. Save me from the skeptics, save me from the watchers. Justice must be done for Richard D. Hall. No more psyop whitewashes. No more left in fear. How long till disclosure comes? Is it really getting near? Is it really getting near? Is it really getting near? Or are we always gonna wonder? Are we never gonna know? Is it just a way to control souls created oh so many years ago? Save me from the sheeple. Save me from the liars. Open up your eyes and see their false flag planned attacks. Save me from the grifters. Save me from the spiteful mutant hacks. Our fear is their power, our obedience the same. Make quiet acts of integrity always be your aim. Make quiet acts of integrity always be your aim. Speak truth to power, always be the keeper of the flame.